Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. I'm Karen Mashures, and we'd like to say at the Coastal Kitchen, Happy New Year. Today, we're going to be fixing chili con carne. We're going to make some saltine flatbread crackers and a grilled pear and pecan salad with crumbled blue cheese on the top. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is come over here to my stove and turn it on. I need it on medium-high. And I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of canola oil in my pot. And I'm going to let that get just a little bit warm. I'm going to roll it around, and the wonderful thing about my stove is it gets hot really, really fast. Let me grab a little spatula here. I'm putting in 1 yellow onion, all diced up. Want to get that onion nice and tender, a little bit brown, and I'm going to throw in my garlic with that too. I've got 2 cloves of garlic minced. Can you hear it starting to sizzle? This is going to go about 4 minutes. We want it to be nice and tender. And I'm going to throw in my green peppers too. I've got half of a green pepper, all diced up. Mix that all around so those flavors can marry. All right, let me get my little gadget here. And while that is starting to get brown, I'm going to get my poblano chili. Now this is a mild chili. I'm going to cut the top off here. And I'm going to cut it in half. This is a rather large one. And I'm going to take the vein out. And scrape my seeds out. I like my chili hot, but I don't want it to scald my lips before it gets to my tongue. Alright, we're just going to cut this in little pieces, good dice. I can hear it going on behind me. Hope you all had a safe New Year. Pop that right in there, the pot. I'm going to give that a nice little stir. Starting to smell wonderful. Alright, that's on medium-high. We've got that going. Let me wash my hands just a second so I don't get any pepper juice anywhere that it shouldn't be. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our hamburger meat in. And I've got about 2 pounds of hamburger, and I got the 80-20. I like to have that little bit of fat in there because it makes it taste so much better. And if there's more on than you want, you can just skim it. And I'm just going to slice this into 6 pieces because I'm going to pop it right into the pot with my onions, garlic, and pepper. And it's getting nice and soft. So we're going to put this right in, and we're going to start to break it up. Don't want to get it too done. Want it just a little tiny bit pink when we add our tomatoes and our beans. Break it all up and it's going to start cooking down. Now this is where I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Give it another good stir. And let's look at our spices. We've got some cumin, and I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of cumin in, and I usually put just a tad more. You know, it's how you like it. Chili powder. I'm going to put a tablespoon and a half of chili powder. And about a teaspoon of paprika. And I've got the sweet Spanish paprika. Give it a little flavor there. And we've got to wait just a few minutes until it cooks down. Okay, it's starting to get brown on the outside and a little bit pink on the inside. Need it to get just a little bit more done because I want it crumbly, nice and crumbly. Spices really are bringing a whole bunch of flavor to this meat. Don't you love just to sit on a cold day and have a nice bowl of chili? I'll tell you, one of my favorite things. All right, we're just about there. I'm going to take a cup of beef broth and I'm going to pour it right over my meat. Let it simmer for just a second. You know, the one thing about chili, it always tastes better on the second day. So if you're going to serve it for dinner or you're going to have it for some kind of party or event, make it the day before. Okay, it's looking good. Now is the time for tomato sauce. And I've got 1 can of tomato sauce. I'm going to pour that right in. Give it a quick stir. I've got a can of diced tomatoes. Now you can always dice whole tomatoes if you want to. You can put them in the food processor, but we're usually a little bit too busy to do that. And if you are like me, canned tomatoes taste just as wonderful as fresh ones in chili. Okay, got that mixed in. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of tomato paste in, and then I'm going to get me another one, so a total of 2. That's going to thicken it up just a little bit, and I want to mix that in well. This chili is going to stay on the stove for about an hour and a half. I like to cook it down and then cool it and then reheat it when I serve it, especially if I am doing it the same day. All right, now beans. dark red kidney beans, light red kidney beans, and I've got some pinto beans in here too. And I think chili should be about the beans, the sauce and the beans. So let's put all our beans in. They've been washed, well, actually rinsed and drained. We're going to put those right in. And one more ingredient. I use canned diced tomatoes and green chilies. This just gives it a little more pop, a little more heat, and a lot more flavor. Okay, take a good look at this. Isn't it really rich looking? Let's see. Oops, need my hot pads because that is quite warm. Just about right. Now let's take this off, put my top on, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. We're going to be back in just a moment after a word from our sponsors, and we'll be making saltine flatbread.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Food Lion, your neighborhood grocery store. Since 1957, Food Lion has been offering the highest quality products at low prices with great service. Swing by your local Food Lion today to find all the ingredients needed to make the meal featured on this week's show.
While you were gone, I've cleaned up a little bit. My chili is really boiling. Look at that bubble. This smells fabulous. I'm going to give it another good stir here, and I'm going to turn it down to low. I want it just to simmer at this point. And now we're going to make our saltine flatbread. Real easy. It tastes very similar to a saltine cracker, and I love saltine crackers with my chili. All right, I've got 2 cups of flour, and I've got some baking powder, some salt, and I'm going to just cut that in together. You can do this in a food processor if you'd like, but it's just as easy to do it right here. Now this is chilled butter. I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of chilled butter. I've cut it into cubes, and I'm just going to cut it into my flour. Want it to be a nice crumbly mixture. It's going to be a rather dry dough, but it tastes wonderful and buttery when it comes out of the oven. All right, good mix here. Let's get it all combined. I'm going to scrape some butter off of this pastry cutter. Go a little bit further here. The one thing you'll need is a rolling pin, and I've got a nice little one because this gets into a small fine cut of dough, and we're going to roll it out real thin so it's about the size of crackers. Okay, got it nice and crumbly. Let's make sure everything's scraped off. Just a little bit more, I think. Just make sure that butter's cut in good. And that it's very cold when you put it in there. My next step is some cold milk, 2/3 of a cup. Okay, just pour that right in the center. And I'm using my fork to mix it up real quick. It's going to form a semi-ball, but it's going to be a little bit dry, so don't worry about that. That's the way crackers are. They're just a little bit dry. All right, looks like that's all mixed in. This dough you don't have to put in the refrigerator. Some cracker doughs you do, but this one you don't. Okay, let's get this out of here. Now I'm going to put a little bit of flour on the board. And I'm just going to form it into a bowl, hand kneading just a little bit. Don't want to do it too much. This is the easy part. Just take a little piece off. And we're going to put just a tiny bit of flour on there. Little tiny bit of flour on the rolling pin. And here we go. Okay, back and forth. You want to turn your dough around. This is not going to be a real round shape. I want it to be more of a square because that's the way I'm going to cut it. Okay, let's roll it a little bit this way, a little bit that way. Nice and thin. And now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut the edges off. I'm going to save the edges for a little bit more crackers, but I'm just going to make it a nice little square. And I'm going to transfer this to my baking sheet, which I've got right over here. I'm going to bring this over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pizza cutter and I'm going to cut the size of crackers that I want. I'm cutting this into 6 pieces. And I've got a quick get a fork. And I'm going to prick the crackers just like you see the saltines. Just give it about 4 pricks per cracker on each side. This is going to go into a 375 oven for about 18 minutes. It always is good to take a look and make sure that they're just turning golden brown. You don't have to separate them. Let's move that out of the way. Get another piece of dough, and we're going to keep going here right now. This is something that kids would love to do too because it doesn't require a lot of expertise. And it's fun to poke these little holes in the crackers. Okay. I'm going to finish this up, but first I want to take another quick look at my chili. And then we're going to pop those in the oven. Ooh, bubble, bubble. Cold outside, so this is going to taste real good when it's done. Okay. Let's go back to our crackers so we can get these in the oven. And now what we're going to do is sprinkle them with a little bit of salt, just a good sprinkle. And this is going to go in my 375 oven. We're going to keep a watch on it, but it'll take about 20 minutes for it to turn, somewhere between 18 and 20 for it to turn. You know, you can check us out on Facebook, or you can visit us at www.atmctv.com. We'll be right back.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Holden Brothers Farm Market in Charlotte for supplying the fresh produce on this week's show. For over 25 years, the Holden Brothers Farm Market has specialized in the freshest locally grown produce on their 250 acres in Charlotte. Swing by their indoor market located near mile marker 10 on Highway 17 or check them out online at holdenbrothersfarmmarket.com.
All right, I'm back and I've done my little cleanup and I'm ready to get my crackers out of the oven. They smell and look just right. You can see they've got a little touch of brown around the edges, little golden. And let me grab a spatula real fast because I'm going to put them on my cooling rack and let them cool while we have our salad in order here. Now, these, if they don't come completely apart when you take them off of the pan, they crack really easily. So we're going to just take them and pop them apart, let them cool, and they'll be ready to eat with our chili. Okay, all set and ready to go. I've got everything set out for my salad. It's a grilled pear salad, and I've used the Anjou pears, and I'm cutting them into fourths, and then I'm going to take the center core out. Just pop that right out. I'm leaving the skins on, and we're going to make nice slices about 1/4 of an inch thick. Okay. Just watch your fingers. I love fruit in salad, and I always try to use it whenever I can. We're going to do 4 salads with this, so we probably only need 1 pear. Depends on how much fruit you like with your salad. Okay, now I'm going to put it on the flat side, give it a good cut this way. All right, I've got to melt 2 tablespoons of butter in the microwave for just a second because we're going to put a nice little basting of butter on the pear while they're on the grill. Just makes them toast up so nicely. I've taken the spiced pecans that we made in December, and I'm going to use them on my salad too. So spiced pecans, some blueberries, and here we go. Butter's ready, and my pears. All right, I'm just going to take a handful of pears. I've got my grill on medium, and I'm going to lay them out right here. And let's baste them with just a tiny bit of butter. Oops, one went down the... Feels like you're outside when you're in here doing this. Okay. Let's grab some of my tongs. And now I want to turn them over. They're starting to get the grill marks already. Okay, now I'm going to turn that down just a little bit more. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to take some of my salad. I've used green leaf lettuce salad, and I'm going to put about a cup on my plate. Okay, let's put these pears over to the side. And I'm going to take a handful of my pecans, and I'm just going to give them a rough chop. Gives it a little bit of sweetness, but a fun thing to add. I'm going to open up my blue cheese, and they're blue cheese crumbles. And while we're doing that, waiting for our pears, we're going to make our dressing. I've got some apple cider vinegar, some olive oil, and I like to use jars to mix things up because it really makes a good mixing tool. Some parsley and some honey. And I'm just going to eyeball this, about a half a teaspoon. A little bit of salt. Let's throw in a little bit of pepper. And we're going to put the top on and shake it just a minute. Let that sit, and let's take another look at our pears. They're starting to turn opaque. Okay, wonderful grill marks. And they should be just about ready. We're going to put these on a plate right here. You want them a little bit crunchy, but a little bit soft. The heat brings out the flavor, and that little bit of butter makes them just so tasty. Okay, we've got that ready. Now we're going to add our blue cheese crumbles to our dressing, and I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons. Just want to get that flavor in there. Another good shake. And let me show you how we do it. Let's put a couple of these pear slices on top. And we're going to throw some pecans right around the salad. And use as many as you like. Some fresh blueberries. Throw a few in there. Now we're going to put some blue cheese right on the top. Let's just do it this way. Just some blue cheese crumbles. Rinse my hands off real fast. Give this another good shake. And we're going to drizzle some dressing right over the top. Don't need a whole lot. All right, and there's our pear salad. Doesn't that look wonderful? Okay, we've got our crackers. Our chili's just about done. Let me get everything all fixed up, and we're gonna have a party.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Food Lion, your neighborhood grocery store. Swing by your local Food Lion today to find all the ingredients needed to make the meal featured on this week's show.
Welcome back. Just about have everything in order. The one thing that I will tell you is when you use grated cheese, use the real thing. Grate it yourself for stuff like chili, because it's wonderful. You can see my chili right here in my bowl. I like to have a little bit of cheese right on top, a dollop of sour cream, and I'm ready to go. Have a wonderful time making chili, and we hope to see you back again at the Coastal Kitchen.